A brother asks that what should be the extent of interaction between men and non-mahram ladies.
باسمك إلهي عالي الشان يا الواحد الفرد نظرة منك تغنيني.
There are majorly two forms of interactions from men towards non-mahram ladies. Either this interaction is going to be by speaking and communication of any form. Maybe you're speaking on phone or speaking directly to them. And the second form of interaction might be the physical body contacts. That includes shaking hands, even to acts of immorality. Let's begin with speaking and communication. Speaking to non-mahram ladies may occur because of a need, or it may occur needlessly. Now, if someone does it needlessly because they want to have fun, because they have immoral intentions behind them, there is no doubt that this is haram, and it comes under something called zina of the tongue. In the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he described the types of zina, the zina of the eyes, the zina of the ears, the zina of the tongue, and the fornication of the hands. And the hadith is narrated in Muslim. So speaking to them needlessly, you want to have fun, you have immoral intentions, this is something that will add up as zina of the tongue. But we do not deny that there is also need to speak to a woman. Yeah, just like the environment we live in, there is no way you can say, I'm not going to speak to women. No, even sometimes the class coordinator in your class is a woman. Even sometimes you might be in a discussion group with a certain non-mahram lady. There is no way you can say that I can't speak to any non-mahram lady, especially in our university society. But when there is need to speak to a woman, the basic principle is that it is permissible if there is need to speak to them. But it is very and very much essential to pay attention to the following etiquettes and principles. 1. The conversation should be limited to only what is necessary and has to do with the matter at hand. If it is that you are discussing coursework, that should be the topic. You have to be discussing coursework. If it is that you are discussing something as someone involved in the Muslim community leadership, that's what you have to be discussing. You do not need to branch off too much into other topics. So your conversation should be limited only to what is necessary. You should also try to lower your gaze as much as possible, but if there is a glance for the purpose of speaking and you want to look into the face of the person you're speaking towards a communication skill, there is nothing wrong with that, inshallah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not hold us accountable. And you should also note that there shouldn't be any softening of the voice by either party. They should speak in the same and ordinary way that they speak. This is something that is very tempting and very common, especially with the ladies, softening the voices and try to act the way they are speaking to gentlemen. And this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highly discourages in the Quran, not to try to attract the attention of the other party by softening the voice. So even the speaking, even the way you speak has to be normal, like you speak to each and everyone. And especially for the men, we should avoid using any words that may have some suggestive meanings. You know, you might throw in some words into your communication, like maybe you're having a discussion and out of the blue, the word might not have a problem, but it has a suggestive meaning. And what do you think the lady is going to perceive out of your statement? So you should avoid using those words that are going to have suggestive meanings in them, and you shouldn't go extreme in beautifying your speech as a man. You might find yourself quoting romantic phrases, quoting beautiful lines of poetry and proverbs. No, you shouldn't go extreme in beautifying your speech, because shaitan may use these means to open doors to haram attraction between these two parties. And so this is what the Sharia does to protect the modesty and courtesy of Muslims by trying to give them guidelines on how they should treat themselves in front of the opposite gender. You should keep in line with interaction with the opposite gender. That is with speaking to them. When we come to physical body contacts, it is not permissible for a man who believes in Allah and His Messenger to put his hands in the hand of a woman who is not permissible for him, or who is not one of his mahrams. He is not the mother, he is not the sister, he is not the auntie, he is not the grandmother. You are not allowed, and whoever does has committed a sin. It was narrated by Ma'qil ibn Yasar, the noble companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the Messenger of Allah said, "For one of you to be stabbed in the head with an iron needle is far better for him than touching a woman who is not permissible for him." Having an iron needle stabbed in your head is far better than you touching someone, a lady, who is not permissible for you. And the hadith is recorded by At-Tabarani. And I think this hadith alone is sufficient to instill the obedience required of us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in line with our interaction with the ladies that are non-mahram. And it implies that touching those women may lead to temptation and immorality. So the Muslim community is highly urged to keep in line with their interaction with the opposite gender, because it might lead to temptation and immorality, and this will cause corruption in our hearts. Wallahu a'la wa a'lam. Allah knows best.